about the Messi thing?
Anything else on the Messi front, Chris, before we move on?
No, I'm done. I'm
I'm falling out. I told you, I never want to bring this guy's name up again.
I don't know, man. This Messi thing is just a freaking mess. What a disaster.
I don't want to hear this name ever again until it's official. But they got me back.
No question about it. I am ready to get hurt again.
Solana, Danny's not here today, but the other Danny is here. Solana is here. Welcome to the Batter Herons podcast. I'm your host, Chris Duran, and alongside me is not the Danny that you guys recognize typically, but we have our other Danny, Solana, in a what looks, I mean, it's a beautiful ensemble that you have, my friend. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic, man. Am I not like in character for the show? Like, is this not it? Like, is this not even better than? I mean, we're ready for mascot talk, right? This is basically it. I'm ready for mascot talk.
I'm ready. We're all ready for mascot talk. I mean, Pablo Golasso down in the comments is ready. Says the new mascot, and Hammy chiming in. What's up, guys? Fabian, what's going on? And Daniel out in Orlando in O-Town, he's also saying 2026, last year of Neymar, last year of Messi, first year of Neymar, and AZ Rebellion saying, yo, I mean, it's this is crazy, son.
AZ legit always brings the vibes, though. I've noticed, like, even when I'm in the chat with and watching the show, AZ always brings those vibes from the West Coast. I like it, man. I like it.
Yeah, much props to you, AZ. And we do need to bring actual heron birds. If anybody knows what's this guy, Ron McGill from the Zoo Miami, see if he can let us borrow a couple, and we'll take them over to Fort Lauderdale for him. Now, everybody knows that we are going to be doing a preview episode of the game against Philadelphia Union, which is coming this Saturday at 7:30, guys. But we got some housekeeping to do. Okay, and as you could tell, over to your right, we have Danny in a beautiful bird suit, and let's get to it. Right, we're finally gonna have somebody in a new bird suit to roam the pitch. Now, I got a couple pictures, but I mean that costume itself could serve the purpose. No,
I mean I think I'm straight up auditioning for the job. So, Jorge Mas or, Mrs. Mas, who was in charge of the project, if you're looking for somebody, I'm available. I'm available Saturdays and Wednesdays. So, let me know.
Listen, you're not going to get a better deal anywhere else, Mas Brothers, especially when you had to throw all your goods over to some guy in California to like finagle together to create. And I have some pictures here. And I mean, this is going to be a travesty because I'm going to be blocking your beautiful ensemble that you have.
No worries.
But for any of you who have played Five Nights at Freddy's, and the only reason I know about this game is because my kids play it. And I mean, look at this, right? Full screen. This is what the mascot's going to look like. I don't know whether to be terrified because I'm going to have nightmares, or whether I'm going to be terrified because this thing is going to destroy everyone that's in the stands, right? What do you think about this, Solana?
I'm now questioning, I was actually excited to take my 3-year-old son to a game, and I'm now questioning whether I want to take him with me because whatever they call, the heron, Henry the Heron, or who knows, whatever they call him.
No way they're going to name him Henry.
I don't know, Hank the Heron. I don't know, but whatever they name him, I'm terrified that my son is gonna be terrified of him. Like, I don't know, man. My son likes Mickey Mouse, and he can recognize. We're on the Disney cruise. I know you guys are. At least Danny's a big fan of cruises. I don't know about you, Chris, but went on the Disney cruise. My son loved it. But could you imagine, taking your kids to see that thing? I mean, come on, this is a much friendlier face than that. Let's be honest.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they could pay you way more than they're going to pay whatever person to wear that suit. And Mr. Krabs is already chiming in. What the F is Solana wearing? I mean,
it's mascot talk.
Yeah, it's mascot talk, baby. Come on, Mr. Krabs. Mr. Krabs also chiming in saying that USA beat Brazil 1-1.
No, tied 1-1.
Yeah, tied 1-1. And Cynical Tube is saying, I think it's cool AF. And then Hammy saying that he says allegedly the name of the mascot is Mama Huevo. Nobody's smoking anything. Well, I mean, I don't know.
I'll tell you this, bro. I'll be 100% honest with you, Chris. I think the concept and the idea behind it is actually really, really cool. Like the whole recycling or upcycling, like they're trying to call it.
Super
I think the concept is cool, but they could have done something bad. I don't know. It looks like a robot. It looks weird, man. Just looks weird.
Well, I mean, look, it looks super cool and interesting, but it's kind of scary. I'm not gonna lie. It looks terrifying. And even this picture that I'm putting up, and for those of you listening on audio, I apologize in advance, but we got some pictures up. So check us out on YouTube. And while you're there, go ahead and like and sub the channel. I mean, this picture right here with the front-facing mascot head and the side-facing mascot head, just those two to me look terrifying. I mean, I guess you want your mascot to look terrifying, right?
I guess, but who in their right mind has heard about a mascot in soccer anyways? I've never seen a club have a mascot. I was actually discussing this with my wife, who's from Ecuador, and her team is Barcelona Sporting Club. And now she looked at me, kind of weird when I told her I was going to wear this thing on camera. And I was like, we're mascot talk. And she's like, but there's no mascots in soccer. And I was like, well, Inter Miami's got a mascot. So I'm going with it.
And look, Aria is saying that's a robot, not a fluffy mascot. Pablo Golazo is saying now we need some hot cheerleaders. I mean, I don't know.
I prefer the big dudes that dance, like at the Marlins games. You ever saw those?
Oh, those are funny. Yeah. Those are hilarious. Now, this is the thing that terrifies me here, because Hammy's asking, so is that thing going to be walking around the game? I mean, listen, that thing might be doing Lionel Messi's bodyguard's job, to be perfectly honest.
I was going to ask you, is he going to pace the other side? I was going to ask you.
I mean, he has to. First of all,
that's terrifying.
Imagine being chased by that thing. Imagine as a kid, you run on the field at 9-10 years old and you just want to go see Messi and you have a big bird chasing you down the pitch. I mean, forget it. I'm never sleeping ever again.
No pitch invaders, I'll tell you that. No pitch invaders if that's what's guarding the pitch, right?
So now we go. I mean, we're done with costume talk, right? We're done with costume talk. We can move on. And other than bird suit, now let's talk a little bit about some bird barf. Okay, so we got a kit leak, apparently. And I'm going to go ahead for those of you on audio. Again, I apologize. This is all going to be visual for the first 10 plus minutes. I'm putting up a kit that is apparently going to supposedly, allegedly be this new kit, right? Now, I'm looking at this, Solana. This looks like it's been painted over, right?
Yeah, somebody spray painted over it, right?
Now, I want to mention something before we keep talking about this kit. I want everybody here to know I found exclusive footage. This is earth-shattering, news-breaking footage of the designers of this jersey that you guys see right here. And you're not getting this footage anywhere else. And I'm going to play it for you right now. Hold on. I had to sneak behind the grass.
No, you're not licking.
So that, I mean, that it doesn't get any more exclusive than that, guys. Doesn't get any more exclusive than that. Okay. Found her in the middle, red-handed, painting over the jersey here. You're not getting any more exclusive than that, right, Solana?
But hold on, let me get in on the royalties, man. If you're gonna get in on the royalties, I need to get in on that too. I mean, that was fantastic. And I know people are talking about the kit leaks. Well, they're saying now it's allegedly a Photoshop, right? That's what's going around X. Everybody's saying it's a Photoshop, but I'm not gonna lie, man. I think you caught him red-handed. I think no lie, you caught the designer red-handed.
Yeah, I caught the designer red-handed. And I mean, look, all jokes aside, all joking aside, I'm seeing some comments there asking if it's my daughter. Yes, it is. It's my youngest daughter. Caught her red-handed designing the new IMCF kit. So, it is what it is. Fun times. That kit honestly, which it's not. Okay, that's not the kit. Okay, that kit looks awful. Now, if we're talking about the Dolphins kit, the Miami Dolphins related kit, that looks beautiful. But this is awful, no? I mean, even if it's remotely close or the same color, right? I mean, we know that somebody photoshopped this. We know someone messed around with some colors, but like if it comes out similar to this, that's awful.
I agree. We talked about it earlier in our little chat, and we agreed that the Miami Dolphins kit or looking kit, right, inspired kit was a lot better, than this. This was absolute garbage, vomit. Take whatever synonym you want for garbage, but that's what you can call that kit. And to go with talk about what Mr. Crab says. He asked if your daughter knows how to use Photoshop. I mean, clearly, 2, 3, 4. I mean, my son's 3 and he's learning how to use Photoshop. And in 2 weeks, I'm gonna post the one that he does, and maybe he'll get as much traction as your daughter's, Chris. We'll see.
I mean, look, and now Hammy is mentioning something here. That Dolphins kit gives me wet dreams. Listen, that Dolphins kit, I'll tell you right now, you're going to have the entire Miami-Dade and Broward County going to buy that kit without a shadow of a doubt. And a lot of other people are probably going to buy it as well. So
now, but if Inter Miami and Adidas were to really, really, really put their heads together,
oh my God,
they could have $1 billion idea. If they really came up with like a fire kit that the entire world would buy, because no matter what it looks like, Messi's going to sell millions of dollars in jerseys. But you're not just talking about Messi here, and it just came out now that we're doing kit talk, that there's five Inter Miami players, including Ben Krem, are on the top selling MLS kits list. So, dude, if Adidas were to put out something halfway decent, Chris, dude, they could make $1 billion out of just selling kits of those 5 players.
Which I want to mention something about the Ben Kremaki kit being 25th on that list. Guys, for those of you questioning why Ben Krem is the 25th kit, you guys have to understand that he hits both points here. Not only is he a homegrown, right, from this team, but he's from Argentina. And he's an underground, I guess, player, right? Not like Messi, Suarez, Busquets, and Alba, but like he has promise. He represents Argentina, and he's a homegrown player.
Represents
like you're not going to get, you're not going to get it better than that. Now, Todd the God, I know you're patiently waiting in the background, but we got one more topic to cover, and this is just something that I wanted to bring up. I didn't want to warm you up to this. Inter Miami season ticket holders typically get a little box with a scarf. Now, the reason I bring this up is because tracing through Twitter, X, whatever, I came across a couple posts, and here we have Seattle Sounders season ticket members only Letterman's jacket. That's what Seattle Sounders season ticket members are getting.
Oof, I can't wait to wear that in August. Oof, that would be nice here, dude.
And then, but then, look at this, right? You're talking about Charlotte FC gets a freaking a party shirt just for a regular game. Now, there's teams, organizations that are supplying so much good stuff for season ticket holders. And every year, it seems like we just get a box with like a little chain to hold my little stupid card with my name on it, right? And a bufanda, and that's it. Here we are, and Seattle Sounders season ticket holders are getting a Letterman's jacket.
All right,
I mean, that looks gorgeous.
Here comes the Solana rant. You ready? Because I'm so glad we got into this topic. Bro, Inter Miami fans, stop bitching about what the club doesn't give you. You know what? In the little box, they gave you Lionel Messi, Luis Suarez, Sergio Busquets, Jordi Alba, possibly now is coming Angel Di Maria, possibly Nacho, possibly Rafa Varane, possibly other players. They're giving you players. They're giving you class to watch on the field. They're not trying to buy you with a shirt, that Hawaiian shirt. By the way, I went to the Flanagan's Marlins game, and I literally went for that Flanagan jersey. Biggest piece of shit jersey I've ever, like, garbage. I suspect that's what Charlotte's giving out too. So, dude, you want a box? Go be a fan of another team. You want to see world class? Be a fan of Inter Miami. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Get the fuck out.
I like
Sorry.
that.
Sorry about cursing, but I seen the season ticket holders bitching about, oh, my jacket or my beer, or we don't get anything. Bro, you got Messi. You got fucking Messi. Nobody else gets to see Messi every fucking week. You got
That's
Messi.
a good point.
You want a box? Go be a FC Cincy fan, bro. They win plates and boxes. We win cafecito trophies.
And Mr. Krabs is saying Inter Miami gives us a Vicky Bakery kit. Now, and you just answered it. Oliver M is saying that's nice and dandy, Solana. Where's the cups, though? He just said it. We got a Leagues Cup.
And that was just in Messi's first 11 games.
Now, and look, you got some people that are co-signing. You got Alejandro here saying that Solana's spitting fire. Look, Solana, I'm going to tell you, it's not that I want 14-karat gold bracelets, but I do want something better than a damn scarf. I think with the amount of money that this team does make, they can be able to supply us with something a little better. Just a little better.
Dude,
I mean, I get it. We get Messi, but
they don't got to buy you. These other teams, Seattle is doing that promotion because they stink right now. And, they were good for so many years. Go back and look at Seattle when they were winning championships. Were they giving away all that stuff? Probably not. But they can't get fans now. So usually when your team doesn't get fans, you got to run all your marketing. Dude, get out of here, man. Get out. Yep. I got it right here.
Yeah, Hammy, Solana's got that harmonica. Look, hey, you know what, Solana? I honestly, before bringing this topic up, I didn't really consider the point that you made, but now that you made it, honestly, it kind of lets me take a step back and really realize, like, hey, you're absolutely correct. The team is supplying us with some of the best players in this world.
I'm excited to ask Todd the God what they're giving the Philly fans, especially now that Carranza's leaving and they've had to deal with Alejandro Bedoya for the last 6 years. And so I'm really excited to hear what the Philly fans are getting.
Well, let's get right to it, guys. For those of you that know, we always do a preview of the team that we're going to be playing against. Of course, we're playing against Philadelphia Union this Saturday. And like always, we got to bring on the best of the best. And Todd the God has been on the show a number of times already. So let's go ahead and bring on your boy, Todd the God. Welcome, Todd the God, to the Battered Herons podcast. Once again, how are you, brother?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Awesome. I mean, look at Solana. He's doing better than ever with that bird suit. No,
I've literally never felt better. And I think I'm going to the game next Wednesday against, and I'm getting ahead of myself against Columbus. I think I'm going like this. I'm going like this with my Battered Heron shirt. YOLO.
Nice. Now, Todd, I want to ask the question, right? And Solana just asked it, right? What do Philly fans get? I mean, George DTA is saying Philly fans get brass knuckles and a cheesecake, right? that can't be true, right? I mean, have you seen what the season ticket holders get for when they renew or purchase season tickets?
Yeah, it's not good. Philly fans are the same way as Miami fans complaining about it. I think this year we got a blanket, a Philadelphia Union blanket, which actually came in clutch because we've had so many cold games this season, so many rain games. So, yeah, I mean, fans have been excited about that. And then, of course, you get your season ticket scarf. But the last couple of years, they've given like chapstick. They've given just a scarf. They've given some cheap T-shirt that says season ticket holder. And fans have not been happy at all. And from what I understand from fans, like it's went downhill every single season. It just got worse and worse. But this year, it seems like the Union did it right with giving a blanket, and fans seem to be happy with that. But here's the kicker, right? And so if you have multiple people that have tickets with your season ticket account, only one blanket per account. And so it sucks for every single person that's on that account with you. Only one person gets a blanket. So how do you decide who gets the blanket? Do you switch it off every week? Who knows? But yeah, Philly fans are not happy with the season ticket membership.
I mean, if I'm forking most of the money, I'm getting that damn blanket. I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to break it into fours if you have four tickets? That sounds awful.
It does sound awful. I mean, the good thing is, it's just my sister and I and our season tickets, and I never used my seat. So I'm like, yep, you can have everything. And like the last couple seasons, like I kid you not, like so you can go to like the Meet the Team event, which is before the season, and they have your season ticket membership that you can pick up. If you don't pick it up, oh well, then you can pick it up during the season. The last couple seasons, my sister and I have just left it there. We're like, we do not want this. You guys can gift it off to somebody. Like it's a joke. We don't want chapstick. Like go to CVS or something and go get chapstick there. I don't need one of the union's many sponsors sponsoring chapstick. And yeah, there's my gift. Nah, you can give that away.
I mean, Solana, it's essentially getting a lip gloss or a lip chapstick with a Baptist Health South Florida on it, right?
I mean, basically, or even with like a Royal Caribbean, just sticker on it. There you go. Hey, I mean, honestly, the chapstick would work better in the Miami sun than that jacket that they gave to the Seattle people. I don't know, man. I don't know. Look, they only get chapstick. And they didn't even get like a great Argentinian. They got a good Argentinian. Inter Miami didn't get anything, and they got the best Argentinian.
Well, I agree with you, right? Miami fans definitely shouldn't be complaining, right? You guys got Messi, and you guys have them.
You guys have a mascot?
Season. Yeah, Fang. Chris, look him up. Put him in here real quick. Let the Miami fans look what Fang looks like. I mean,
I did not know, and that's really weird because you guys have a mascot named Fang, although you guys are technically the Union. I don't know, man. How does that go? Like, it sounds kind of weird.
Oh, dude, look. If Chris can get this pulled up, and I know this is for people that are listening to audio, you guys aren't going to look this up, but you could look it up if you want to. I mean, this is crazy. I don't want to spoil it because you guys are going to be like, "What the hell is that?" Like, I don't want to say too much. But yeah, we do have a mascot. I'm trying to think. When did the Union introduce him? He's been around for a little bit now. But he definitely gets clowned on a lot, and I think Union fans have the last couple of years become somewhat accepting of what he is or who he is, and
does he come on the field?
He does,
like often, like he has appearances.
Yes.
Interesting.
Oh,
like at halftime when they put the little kid rec soccer teams out there playing soccer. Yeah, he's out there on the field with them. He's out on the field before the game, just throwing T-shirts to fans. Chris, I see that face. Did you see the picture?
Yes, I'm looking at it as we speak. I am pulling it up. I had my crack staff over here putting everything together, and bam, here it is. That is a Fang.
What does that have to do with the Union? I guess it's a snake.
A snake that has arms. A snake cannot have arms. What are we doing? And a mohawk? Come on now.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
It actually kind of looks. Somebody mentioned that you have Charmander in the back there, so it actually kind of looks like Charmander. So yeah, and Mr. Krabs is agreeing. It is a snake. And George DTA is saying it's a salamander. Yeah, I mean, there's other people that are literally just like, what the hell? And Soccer Daddy's actually saying it looks like Solana.
So for people that are interested in how did the Union decide to get Fang, it's because it comes from the inspiration from the Jonah dive flag, and so that has a snake in it, and so the Union just went with it. The Union's logo obviously has a snake in it, and yeah, it's just easy to base it off of that. I mean, I don't know, a snake with hands is kind of crazy to me, but whatever. You guys, and I know this is Inter Miami podcast, but when we played Monterrey last year in the third place game in the League's Cup, they have a dog. I forget the name of the mascot. It's like a bulldog or something. They were both on the field just taking so many pictures with us, with each other. I'm like, dude, Monterrey's mascot looks 10 times better than this. Like the Union should be ashamed putting this snake out there with this kick-ass bulldog. Like Monterrey is putting the Union to shame.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely they are. Absolutely. Now, let's get into some serious football talk here. Okay. Now, we're set to play you guys this Saturday. It's I believe at 7:30 in Philadelphia. And one of the things that I noticed in the last couple of games you guys have been on a complete tie fest ever since winning against New England. And that's I mean, typically with Philadelphia, I feel like Philadelphia is one of the better teams. And I guess it's respectable because, especially since you don't buy players, you guys sort of grow players from the system and internally. How's it been in the last couple of weeks just watching this team and I guess their evolution? Because you guys are still sort of maintaining, competitively.
Uh, I mean, when you go off the form, yeah, maybe the
Yeah.
stats show that, but that's not been the case at all. I mean, the Union have been god awful this season. One win in the last 10 games. You mentioned it against New England Revolution, but I mean, the
Yeah.
Union were gifted a red card early in that game. New England played without 11 men on the field for 80 minutes in that game, 80 plus minutes in that game, something like that. And the Union won 3-0. And so, you should be battering teams when when you're up a man. And the Union took care of business in New England. But look, besides that, the last home win in New England was an away win too, by the way. So, I mean, if you just look at the Union's home form, one home win this season, and that came March 30th against Minnesota United in a 2-0 victory. I mean, it's been bad for the Union. One home victory all season long, where this team has been so dominant. I'm glad you guys were talking for like 10 minutes or whatever, so I can make sure I get this right. The Union have already had 4 losses this season at home. I believe they've played 8 games so far this season at home, 8 or
Yeah.
9, and they already have 4 losses. And if you go from 2020 to 2023, they had 8 home losses in 80 games total in all competitions.
Ooh.
Only 8 losses in 80 games, and they've already got 4 losses this season in leagues play. It's not been good enough for the Union at home, and I think I've said this for the last couple seasons, and I don't know what took teams so long, but if you want to beat the Union at home, you make the Union have possession of the ball. You make the Union break you down. And we saw it last year against Columbus, and it worked for parts. Last year, the Union wound up winning that game 4-1. I want to say Columbus maybe got a red card in that game. But here's the thing, right? We've seen Montreal do it. We've seen Toronto do it. They're playing 3 in the back. And the Union have struggled against teams playing 3 in the back. And I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but it seems like more and more teams in MLS are going with 3 in the back. And the Union struggle against that. And the Union just also struggle against teams that sit deep and then hit you on the counterattack. And that's what teams have been doing at Subaru Park this season. So I would argue that, yes, you mentioned the Union have had 3 straight draws, but I would argue that it's not been good performances, those 3 draws. Yes, okay, the Union are not losing like they were, but they're not getting wins at home, where we saw, like I said, only 8 home losses from 2020 to 2023 in 80 games in all competitions, and they've already got 4. The Union just can't figure out how to win, and I think part of that is because teams are saying, hey, look, break us down, you have the ball, and the Union just don't have the players that can break teams down that sit deep.
Well, and Solana, I don't know if do you have a point, Solana? Go ahead.
Yeah, no, all I was gonna say was, so Todd, we also do a Spanish show, Batter Herons in Espanol. We talked about it on Monday. We made the point that Philadelphia this year has been a lot better away than they have been playing at home. And so when we talked about our probable results and stuff, I thought, I said Inter Miami, and I don't want to get ahead of myself. I won't give what I said, but I said that they were going to win and by more than 1 goal. And that's because I thought Philadelphia hasn't played that well at home this year. And that was the one thing that I was looking at. The other thing, and we can maybe get into this, is, Julian Carranza has just been, rumored to be going to Feyenoord. So there's he might not be playing this weekend. You guys are going to be without Daniel Hasdag, which is, those are your 2 forwards. Those are probably the 2 guys that you get most of your goals from. So where is Philadelphia going to be getting their goals from this weekend if your 2 big, number 9s are gone?
Yeah, so I mean, the thing with Daniel Gazdag, he's technically a 10. I know that the Union have been playing a little bit farther up because Julian Kranz's missed the last couple games with an injury. So he was supposed to play last 2 weekends ago against Montreal, but Jim Curtin said he picked up a knock. And so no update on Julian Kranza yet. Tomorrow's Jim Curtin's press conference. We're recording this podcast for people who are not listening live on Wednesday night. And so we'll get an update from Jim Curtin on Thursday, what the health is with Julian Kranza. Mikel Ua, 5 goals this season. He's number 3 leading goal scorer for the Union this season. He scored against Montreal, probably his best goal of his Union career since 2022. He's been with the club. And it was a really good counter press by the Union. Quinn Sullivan plays a nice 3-ball into Mikael Ua. Ua makes a defender fall to the ground, and then Mikael's just 1-on-1 against the goalkeeper and then composed finish. But he's been streaky this season in terms of goals, but I would argue, he's been in pretty good form with his hold-up play, link-up play with his teammates. Just the goals haven't been there. So, of course, if Julian Kranz's not able to go, you're going to have to rely on Mikael Ua to get your goals. You mentioned it. Daniel Gazdag away with Hungary national team at the Euros. 10 goals this season in MLS play. That's a huge loss for the Union. But when you're just looking at goals, okay, he's scoring a lot of goals. But I'd also argue that Daniel Gazdag the last couple of weeks hasn't been having a great season. Fans want him to be connecting more with the front two, and Mikael Ua and Julian Kranza. His creative play hasn't been there. I think you mentioned Daniel Gazdag being a 9, being a striker. It is interesting when you look. He does kind of play like a striker. He doesn't play as a traditional 10 that's trying to create. He's making these late runs into the box. He's starting deep in the midfield. He's not really playing where you want your number 10 centrally in the field, just playing these 3 balls. He doesn't really play that way. But Daniel Gazdag, in my opinion, hasn't been in the greatest form, so I think the Union would be fine with that. If Julian Kranza can't go this weekend, it's a big loss. But you mentioned it. I mean, it looks like Julian's off to Feyenoord. And I'm a little bit surprised about that if I'm being honest, because Feyenoord could have had him for free in the wintertime. Any team could have, because his contract was up. And so now it seems like once the transfer market opens, I believe in July, he'll be off. So whether it be this game against Charlotte, it seems like the Union fans aren't going to have Julian Kranza for much longer, which is tough. But it's also good news for you guys, Inter Miami fans, because it does seem like the Union and Feyenoord have agreed some kind of compensation. And so I forget what the percentage is, but when Inter Miami sent Julian Kranza to the Union, there was a sell-on clause. And so it looks like some money could be going back to Inter Miami, depending on the compensation between the Union and Feyenoord. So that's good news for you guys.
How crazy is that? How crazy is that? Like, literally, this guy is cooking. Like, we're talking about getting deals from deals that have already been made with you guys that are going to be made somewhere else. Solana is saying something in Spanish. Solana, Mike B is saying Solana tiene cabeza de paloma. And look, yes, Solana. Yeah, yeah. Thank you for mentioning that, Solana, that Danny is taking a week vacation and he has been traded to the Orlando City podcast temporarily, I guess. One of the things I wanted to mention is also one of the people that we're going to be having missing, or you guys are going to have missing, is another former Inter Miami player. Damian Lowe's also playing, for Jamaica. How many players do you guys have in total that are going to be missing out?
Oh, man, that's a great question. So I'm glad we're talking about this. So we mentioned Daniel Gazdag, Julian Kranza will get an injury update from Jim Curtin tomorrow. Damian Lowe away with Jamaica for Copa America. Andre Blake's out 4 to 6 weeks with a meniscus injury. And so, he's missed most of the season with injuries already. So Oliver Zemla, who they got from Louisville City in January, he's played most of the season. He's looked shaky. He's looked good at times. You expect that for a goalkeeper that's coming from USL. He's 25 years old. And so my biggest complaint, and I don't know exactly, you guys have Julian Gressel, so this might be Inter Miami's game plan, just sending in crosses. When he comes out to try to punch the ball, he's not that confident. He doesn't get the best punch on the ball. And so if I was Inter Miami, that's something I would be attacking, sending in a ton of crosses, making Semla come out and try to punch the ball because he doesn't look comfortable trying to command his area. So Andre Blake out. Jack Elliott, this is something we're going to update on Jim Curtin for, because he got a red card against Montreal. The Union are pretty confident that the referee got that wrong. It was initially given as a yellow card on the field. No VAR was used. The referee went straight to a red card after initially giving a yellow card. And so the Union, it seemed like after that game that they were considering appealing it. We'll find out from Jim Curtin tomorrow if they did indeed appeal that. But if Jack Elliott can't go, you have no Damian Lowe. Now you're short-handed in your center back department. You have Jacob Gillespie, who will definitely get the start in this game. But then where do you go for your second center back? You have Alawatu Makanya, who the Union signed last season as a U22 player from South Africa. Hasn't featured at all for the first team, primarily plays with the second team. I don't think Jim Curtin goes that route. Nate Harriel, who was just with the U23 playing against Japan for that warm-up game before the Olympics. He'll be back, as well as Jack McGlynn. Nate Harriel, we've seen play as that center back at times. He's a right back by trade, but he can play as a center back in a pinch. We've also seen him play as a left back. So I would expect if Jack Elliott can't go, that we'll see Jacob Lesnes and Nate Harriel as the two center backs, with Olivier Beiser as a right back, and you see Kai Wagner as a left back. But maybe Jim wants to go Kai Wagner as a center back. We've seen him do that in the past too before. He's a left back. Nate Harriel, like I said, has played left back. So I don't know. There's a couple things, but I think it's probably going to be, if Jack Elliott can't go, Jacob Lesnes and Nate Harriel. And then Jose Martinez, that's a big miss for the Union too. Center defensive midfielder. He's going to be away with Venezuela for the Copa America, but Liam Phlox filled in for him at times this season. Liam Phlox looked really, really good for the Union. And he's coming back from a pectoral injury. He's played 6 games so far this season. In those 6 matches, the Union have 1 win, 3 draws, and 1 loss. 5 goals with Liam Phlox in the lineup, 5 goals when conceded when he's also in the lineup. We've seen without Liam Phlox in the lineup, the Union have given up 1.5 goals a game. They've scored 1.7 goals a game with him not in the lineup. So the thing that Liam Phlox gives you defensive stability, but the offense isn't there from Liam Phlox. And so you look for a player like Jack McGlynn, you look for a player like Kai Wagner to really create chances. Again, going back to Daniel Gazag, like I said, yeah, he has 10 goals, but he really isn't creating a lot. And so, and the Union, you mentioned it, Chris, that they've had 3 straight draws. They've had 3 clean sheets since Liam Phlox returned to the lineup in their 6 games, which the Union struggled this season to create clean sheets. But the offense has dried up. Yes, I know they scored 2 goals against Montreal 2 weeks ago, but the offense hasn't been clicking like it's really been there. And I'd argue too, look, yes, they scored 3 goals against New England, but like I said, because New England was down a man, you expect teams to batter you. And
Absolutely.
the Union had to find a way to get this offense clicking. And so, yes, you'll get that defensive stability with Liam Phlox filling in for Jose Martinez, but where does the offense come from? Like you said, Daniel, that the Union are missing Daniel Gazak, 10 goals. If Julian Kranza doesn't go, that's 6 goals right there that you're missing. So you got to find places where you're going to get the goals. And so Quinn Sullivan's been a player that stepped up very well on the right side of the field this season. We've also seen him play as a striker, not his natural position. I think if the Union do that, you're really, really hurting yourself. He has to play as that right center midfielder, right side of 8 in the diamond that the Union play. So those are the players that the Union are missing. Quite a few players, but
it's a lot.
Even if they had everybody, even if they had people, I'd still be nervous for this game.
Well, and we're going to be missing a couple players as well, and Messi being one of them, right? And so we kind of have to figure out how we're going to be able to approach that with the players that are sort of left. I mean Solana, correct me if I'm wrong. We're going to be missing Messi. We're going to be missing Suarez as well, correct?
Correct.
We're also going to be missing Rojas.
Correct.
I'm not sure if Ruiz is going to be there or not. I don't know.
I'm not sure if he'll be back. If they still have qualifying, because they're doing World Cup qualifying right now. I know Honduras played Bahamas the other day and he played. So, but I think qualifying will be over. So I think he'll be back. If the U23s are back, he should be back.
Now, I'll tell you one thing. I was looking at some of the stats, though, Todd, and you guys are one of the better teams when it comes to aerial duels. Now, you had mentioned something about Gressel being the kind of player that actually might be pretty effective in this coming game. Now, if there's one thing that Inter Miami fans are waiting for, is for Gressel to be effective. Now, Alejandro is already throwing in the towel. I think we are doomed. That's what he's saying in the comments. I don't think
we're sure he's not a
Alejandro.
Union fan.
I don't know, Alejandro. Sometimes he's a realist. He tries not to go crazy like we do. But I'll tell you right now. I mean, look, Mike V. Yeah, we're not doomed like the game doom. I really think that Julian Gressel. And look right here, Mr. Krabs is saying Julian Gressel can cross good, but he can't finish for shit. But that's what we don't need, Mr. Krabs. We don't need him to finish. We need him to cross. And I mean, against Philly, who have pretty tall center backs, now that they're not going to be available, I guess it's going to be easier for us to be able to get those crosses in and have our forwards like Campana, and if Borgelin plays, Borgelin, I mean, those are two guys that are dying to get nothing but header goals, right? I mean, if we throw a guy like Alfonso up there instead of Borgelin, then yeah, it's got to be a little bit lower for him. But for the most part, this is the game that we're kind of waiting for Gressel to sort of step up. Solana, am I wrong? I mean, are you thinking maybe somebody else has to step up?
I mean, I don't think he has to step up. I think he's already stepped up a couple times this season. Don't forget that Orlando City game where he had a few assists to Suarez. When Inter Miami blew them out 5-0. But look, I'm looking for Gressel to possibly play that right winger position and in-swing the ball to Campana, and that's probably going to be what the game plan is. We'll see what Tata says tomorrow at the press conference, just like Jim Curtin says. But look, Todd scares me a little bit. Todd scares me. He says that that Philly has trouble against teams who play three in the back. So does that mean Tata's going to play three in the back? And that scares me a little bit. I would prefer 4-3-3. But Todd mentioned that, and everybody knows Tata tactics means, hey, let's play five in the back. Let's play three in the back. Who knows? So that kind of scares me a little bit. So we'll find out. I think if they play 4-3-3, it'll be, in swingers all day, and they're going to be looking for Campana's head.
Well, and I want to mention that, and we'll bring it up to you, Todd, because in the beginning of the season, Tata was playing with the idea of having five in the back or three in the back with right and left wing backs pushing up high, right? We got Jordi Alba, who barely plays defense. And then right back, we've had Yedlin, we had David Ruiz, we have Weigott now, who's been sort of effective, right? A lot of the fan base are starting to grow. He's starting to grow on the fan base. But we finally got to a point where we went four in the back, which is a little bit more effective for us. But in the beginning, Tata was really heavy with five in the back or three in the back, I guess. And if you're mentioning something like that, Solana's scared. I'm kind of scared too, Todd.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. If you're Tata Martino, why not? I mean, you saw Toronto do it very, very effective. I mean, they completely took out the Union's midfield. I mean, they forced the Union to go man-to-man, man marking Jack McGlynn, man marking Daniel Gazlag, and both of those players struggled against that. Montreal came in and they struggled against Montreal in that game. I mean, look, the Union were down early in the game. 50 seconds in, they conceded a goal. And the only reason the Union scored 2 goals in that game is because Montreal got a red card. And then the Union scored 2 goals in the second half. And then the Union winded up getting a red card themselves, which again, I'll repeat that the Union feel like they were pretty hard done by that. Again, don't know if Jack Elliott is going to miss this game, if the Union appealed that red card or not. It sounded like the Union were going to do that. But as soon as the Union get that red card, they can see the goal right away off of a set piece, which the Union have been really good this season defending set pieces, and they've been one of the best teams scoring off of set pieces. And so I think this game's definitely going to come down to set pieces. The Union have 10 set pieces on this season. I think that's the second most in the league, or tied for first. It's up there in the top 2 for sure. But if you're Tata, why not? I mean, you see a Montreal team that's not that good this season, and they go into Subaru Park and they come away with a draw after scoring in the first 50 seconds of the game. And it's also a good point to bring up to you guys. So I hear you guys saying that, oh, you're scared and everything. But if you look at the Union this season, this is what we've been complaining about all season. Union fans have been complaining about a lot of things this season. We've been mentioning so many stats to Jim Curtin this season, and one of the main ones is the Union continue to concede first. They've conceded first in 56% of their games, 9 out of 16 games, and that's just not acceptable for the Union. I know Inter Miami are used to conceding first as well, 12 out of 18 games. I'm looking at that right here, but here's the thing, right? Inter Miami had the most comebacks, most come from behind wins this season in MLS. So it doesn't matter, because Miami always has a chance with Suarez and Messi. But yes, I know that they're not going to be here for this game, but I still think that they have enough quality in this team to come in and beat the Union.
And you were going to say something, Solana?
No, I want to know what, and I was going to look it up, what the line was on who's going to let the first goal of the game, because since
both of these teams love conceding first.
That's what I'm saying. I'm wondering, I'm trying to figure out what the line was, so I'll figure it out and I'll let you know.
Yeah, pull that up. But I just want to mention another stat, right? Another stat that I noticed is that Philly is one of the worst teams when it comes to clearances. So as far as clearing the ball out and getting it out of sort of harm's way or trouble, you guys are one of the worst teams, one of the top 6-7 worst teams in clearing the ball, which is no bueno against an Inter Miami team who likes to sort of push the pace. I mean, Robert Taylor will eat all day with that kind of stuff. That's one player that I really think is going to flourish, other than Campana maybe, is Robert Taylor. I think that he's going to be eating, especially since a lot of our fan base has seen that Robert Taylor is a guy that's literally willing to put his country to the side and say, we got games here in Miami. So that's something that is definitely that we're going to look forward to. Now, it's funny that you're mentioning something, Solana, because we have delinquents that bet just like you do. Tommy one time is saying, I want to massage the bird's neck. So there, and then there's Solana with a little massage. Now, I mean, look, Arya is mentioning it here. Taylor better be eating. He left this country in the dust. So, and a lot of people here have high expectations for Taylor. Now, while you're still looking that up, Solana, I got a question for you, Todd. I mean, yeah, all right, go ahead.
So Philly's plus 110 to score first. Inter Miami's plus 195 to score first. So you get better odds picking Inter Miami. Interesting. So
that is interesting.
There you go.
Everybody get on your Hard Rock app and make your bets. Of course, we're not condoning gambling, but I mean, if you got the app, might as well throw a couple bucks at it.
Makes it a little more fun.
Yeah, it does. It does make it a little more fun. Now, typically, Danny, who's in Orlando right now, and guys, he's in the chat. So, guys, shoot Danny a message over here in the chat. And if you've been hanging with us, like and subscribe for the show if you can, guys. Danny typically asks the question, Todd, if you can be able to talk to Tata and let him know, hey, look, I'm gonna put money on you guys. How can we be able to beat you guys? How would you be able to let him know? How can we beat you guys so we can put some money on the house?
Well, one, I don't think he understands English that well, so we got to find somebody who speaks Spanish to let him know. So I'm definitely not your guy. I don't know if he's in here.
Chris got you with that.
Okay, there you go. There you go, Chris. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's like, I think, like I said, I mean, if I'm Tata Martino, I'm definitely coming in, playing 5 in the back. I'm sitting deep. I'm letting the Union possess the ball, and then I'm hitting you on the counterattack. And I look for Julian Gressel to have a big game this match. Robert Taylor too, and I was looking it up for all the Miami fans. Robert Taylor has 2 goals scored against the Union in MLS play. Julian Gressel, he has 3 goals scored against the Union, 2 goals as well, 2 assists. Robbie Robinson, 1 goal. Those are the only 3 players that are in this current Inter Miami roster with MLS goals against the Union. So not many people, but I think, Inter Miami, look to hit on the counterattack, look to send in lots of crosses, and take advantage of Nate Herrera as your center back if he is indeed the center back. He's, in my opinion, the Union's best aerial player on the team. He gets up there very, very high, so I'm not that concerned with him if balls get sent in. But Jacob Glessis hasn't looked that great this season, especially 1v1 defending. Why not take on Nate Herrera 1v1 right back that's playing as center back? So, I mean, I can see a lot of ways for Inter Miami to beat this Union team. I mean, number one, I would definitely play 5 in the back, sit deep, let the Union beat you with the ball, and look to hit on the counterattack, and then send in a ton of crosses. Like I mentioned earlier, Zemla, the goalkeeper, terrible at punching. He doesn't have the best command in his box, and so I would look, especially on corner kicks and everything, just make him uncomfortable, make him try to catch that ball cleanly, and I wouldn't be surprised if this game gets decided by set pieces.
Well, and I want to mention something before you bring up your point, Solana. Florida Man is telling me I should have just asked what's the team weaknesses. Yeah, I basically, for those of you that watch American football, I Leon-ledded fumbled that in the end zone. So
no, bro, you said a little bit more eloquently. That's what I thought.
I guess I just used way too many words than necessary. There's a question by Justin Blair that I want to bring up, but did you have a point real quick, Solana? Or
There was another question there talking about Kevin Sullivan, and I wanted to ask Todd. Now that that he signed an official contract, do you think he's going to make his debut this season?
He's legally not allowed to play this weekend. So the union said that they were trying to figure out what they can do because labor laws. I mean, he's 14 years old, and so I think the latest he can play over the weekend, now that school's not in session or about to not be in session, I think it's 9 o'clock. And so I don't know. Did the union put him out there for 45 minutes and take him off? I think eventually we'll see Kevin. But yeah, I mean, he's like legally not allowed to play a certain amount of time because
is that like is that a Pennsylvania
no,
law?
That's like U.S. laws.
Really?
The same thing happened with New York Red Bulls. Like Hall, last name Hall, one of their players. They had a day game, and that's the only time they could play him. They wanted to give him his debut, but he couldn't play at night because of child labor laws. And so they had a day game. They said, no, we're going to give you your debut during the day game, so you don't get in trouble, so we don't get in trouble. So I don't know. Ernst Tanner said a month ago when it was announced that the union had agreed to deal with Cavan that they were trying to get clarification on that. I don't think the union are going to be able to change the law, but we'll see what happens. I mean, I know MLS is trying to help the union with that. Leagues Cup, in all honesty, is when I expect to see Cavan make his debut, especially if you get a day game or something during there. And look, I mean, the kid's 14 years old. Like, I know everybody's calling him the American Messi, the next great player and everything, just because he's going to Man City once he turns 18. But look, I mean, the kid's 14 years old. Like, he's going against people double his age. Like, this kid's not going to be a difference maker.
Hey, Freddie Adu debuted at 15 or 16, if I don't remember. So I mean,
look at where he's at.
He was a bust,
he's
but
bagging groceries at your local grocery store.
Hey, he's tweeting good stuff or Xing good stuff, whatever you call it. Well, I do follow him. By the way.
Okay, I'm gonna have to check that out. Justin Blair has a question here for you, Todd the God. Todd, as things cooled off in the Philly facilities after Blake got his contract extension, is there homogeneity? Jeez, I fumbled that so bad. Between the front office and players.
Yeah, I mean, Andre Blake's been very vocal that the union need to do more in terms of signing players, that he believed that they needed 2 or 3 more players. Kai Wagner a couple weeks ago was on the union's official podcast, The Dupe, and he also mentioned that he believes that the union need a couple players, but those are the 2 only players that have been vocal about the union needing to bring in more players. I mean, I don't know if like players are afraid to speak their mind, but other than those 2, nobody else has really talked about bringing in players, this team needing more players. Andre Blake, I think some of his comments were him wanting a new contract. Now that he's got his contract, he hasn't been available to the media because he's been injured. So I would, and look, a lot of people are confused by that word there as well, I see. So Justin, just bring in the big words, confusing everybody down in Florida.
Well, and it says here, and for those of you who don't want to Google it, I'll go ahead and Google it for you. And let me tell you, Justin, thank you for doing that, because I love learning new words. One of the, and I guess I'll peel back the curtain a little bit on my life. When I was a kid and I got grounded, I was forced to read the encyclopedia and the dictionary. So I mean, fortunately, I was able to learn while I was grounded and not having any sort of electronic devices. And it says here, homogeneity is the quality or state of being all the same or all of the same kind. That's very good. Good stuff. We're learning out here, baby.
It's from, I guarantee you, it's from the root homo something.
I guess. I mean, I don't think so. It just seems like the same of something. So, I don't know. I don't even want to play around with that hot potato. It says here, Mike V's mentioning, bruh, Maradona was doing blow by 17. I mean, but Maradona's a different creature, though, Mike V. Maradona said, and we're at a different time, Mike V. I mean, 14-year-old kids working, like, you can only work like 5 hours a week now.
Bro, they spend more time on Snapchat than they do working.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So we're getting to the best time in the show, which is the predictions. Okay. Now, typically, we always go to the guest of the show, but I think I'm going to go to Solana. I want Solana's prediction. So, Solana, what do you think? And you already said this, I think, in the last podcast, but what do you think it's going to be in terms of your prediction for the game coming up this Saturday?
Yeah, I mentioned it on Monday. I think it's going to be 3-1 Inter Miami. Like I said, I think Philadelphia has had a really tough job winning at home, and they just end up playing better on the road. So again, I think Campana will finally break out of his shell. Taylor will have a chance to do his thing without Messi and his boys there. And having Busquets and Alba helping the team out is going to be basically what puts them over. So 3-1 Inter Miami.
Oof, a lot of people are agreeing with you. Florida Man says 3-1.
Philly scores the first one, though.
Ooh, wow. You think they're going to score? So you already got the money on that.
Yeah. I just threw it down.
So Yuta Yakuma are saying 3-1. AZ Rebellion is saying 2-1 here. And then Mike B is saying here in Miami needs the homogeneity jersey.
We talked about the homogeneity jersey earlier in the show. If you weren't part of it,
and we actually caught the person red-handed who created it, Mike V. So rewind and watch the footage. Alejandro is saying 1-0, and AZ Rebellion and other people have mentioned that Campana is going to get a header. We still got a lot. I mean, Omer S. What are we doing? 4-1 Philly.
What?
We'll lead into that Todd the God. What? Go ahead.
No, this
Solana.
guy, he also said that Inter Miami sucked earlier in the show because they lost to Atlanta. I was going to ask Omar S. if Argentina sucks because they lost to Saudi Arabia, but I mean, I think that's an obvious question.
Boom. Mic drop, Omar S. with your regular yellow background there. Aria is saying 2-1. And Florida Man, 2-1. I imagine it's 2-1 Inter Miami. Florida Man is saying, I missed it. Again, rewind it, Florida Man, and you'll be able to see who was caught on camera, creating the new jersey. So, Todd, we already got the prediction from Solana, and everybody's waiting with bated breath. Todd, who do you think is going to win, and what's the score going to be?
5-1 Inter Miami.
Oh,
it's gonna be 2-1 Inter Miami. I don't think the Union win, but I don't know. I mean, could I say the Union conceding lots of goals in this game? Sure. I mean, they've started slow when they've come off of breaks, and the Union, like I mentioned, had off last week. Inter Miami did as well, if I'm not mistaken. So I mean, both of these teams are going to be fresh. But I don't know. I mean, just Jim Herndon's mentioned it too, that the Union play scared at home, which is kind of wild to say as a head coach, saying your team plays scared at home. That's pretty wild. And so only one home win this season in MLS play, March 30th against Minnesota. I don't know. It's hard for me to just be confident at all just going into Subaru Park. I expect teams to win every single time just because this team has shown me that they, for whatever reason, just can't get it done at home. And I think part of that is, and I'll keep mentioning myself, is, teams sitting deep, forcing the Union to have the ball, and the Union struggle to beat teams. The Union conceded a lot of goals first, 9 out of 16. 5 out of 8 goals they've conceded first at home. So I'm going to go against you, Daniel, and I'm going to say that Inter Miami is going to score the first goal in this game because, I don't know, I feel like if the Union do score first, then Miami is going to have to come at them, and we haven't seen the Union score any goals from the counterattack this season, but that is how they're built to play, is on the counterattack, but teams haven't given them a chance to hit on the counterattack. But I do see an Inter Miami victory 2-1. I think we'll see a goal from Robert Taylor and Leo Campana.
And Danny from Orlando is saying Todd is pulling a Tommy One Time on us. I don't know if you caught the episode, Todd, but Tommy One Time gave us a sort of a similar prediction, and obviously Atlanta ended up bashing our brains in. So
the Union aren't gonna. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah,
I'm
and
really confident on that.
Arya saying, I'm not falling for Todd's trap. Nice try, pal. That's exactly how Arya said it, pal. Just like that. I honestly, I think that this is going to be a 3-1 victory as well, Solana. I was going to try to go with something different. I don't think it's going to be a tie. I think that we're going to win. I don't think that we're going to bash in a bunch of goals. But I got to ask the question, though, Todd, because if there's one fan base, and I've always told you, and I always joke with Danny about how I love the Doop 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 song Celebration when you guys score goals. I love it. I absolutely love it. And if there's something that really strikes me sort of interested is you guys as a fan base. You guys have a really intense fan base, and your fans show up to the games. Like it's sort of a very good home crowd. So the
Not this
fact that you
season.
guys, well, and that's the weird thing, right? Because the fact that you guys aren't doing as well at home, knowing the sort of reputation that you guys have, especially with a fan base that's like so devoted in the team and the organization, like what can it be? I mean, Solano, you were gonna say something. Go ahead.
Well, I know the answer. Have they put Chicky and Pete's in Subaru Stadium yet? Because
Yeah,
if that's
yeah,
the answer, they go for the Krabby Fries. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. And Todd can back me up on that. But if you haven't been to Philly, and you haven't had Chicky and Pete's at one of the stadiums yet, then you don't know what the heck you're doing, man. If you haven't had those crab fries, I mean, that's why people are going to the stadiums. There's no other reason why Philly stadiums get full.
Well,
Yeah, I mean,
Jillian-
Chickies and pizza in there, 100%.
Oh, man.
So I'm reading these comments too. I mean, man, come on, Mr. Krabs coming at me saying I'm negative every Saturday. Come on, dude. Like, I don't know if you listen to my podcast, and so maybe he does. There's been a couple people that have reached out to me, not happy that I've called out the fan base. But like, it's crazy to me that 50 seconds, like I said, the Union conceded a goal to Montreal, and we hear the Sons of Ben, which is the Union's main supporters group, chanting, not all of them, but the ones that have megaphones. Hey, Union, wake the F up. Like, what are we doing? 50 seconds into this game, like, this team knows, like, okay, look, it's not good enough. There's still plenty of game to be played. And then later in the second half, you know, the Union are the fans are chanting, "Hey, Union, we won all 3 points." Like, don't you think the team knows? Like, I don't know. We've heard just it goes so dead silent in there, and yeah, that's a lot of that's because you know they're conceding goals early and often. They're not getting wins and everything, but Kyle and Jillian Almany, sorry, Jillian, who just commented on there, they also do a Philadelphia Union podcast, and they talked about it the last couple of weeks on their podcast, where, you know, it's crazy to me. We've seen the Union concede first in playoff games and still come from behind, and I don't understand. You know, the fans didn't give up on fans and on this team in the playoffs, but why are they giving up on this team in the regular season? It makes no sense to me. You didn't hear anything negative coming from the fans during these playoff games, and maybe it is because the fans realize that the playoffs are the playoffs, and the regular season really doesn't mean much. It's like as long as you make it to the playoffs, anything can happen. But I don't know. It's weird to me because you said it. The atmosphere in Subaru Park's been really, really good the last couple seasons, but this year it's not been good. You know, it seems like fans are giving up on this team way too fast, way too early, and I don't know. I mean, like I said, telling the team wake the F up 50 seconds into the game where you've only played 50 seconds in this game, and I get it. They conceded a goal within the first 50 seconds, but anything can happen. Like, it's only 50 seconds have been played, and you're saying wake the F up.
There's only 89 more minutes.
It's crazy. So, I mean, yeah, the fan base, and here's the thing, right? I really wish you came to the stadium this week, Chris, because the Union opened up a new beer hall called Union Yards, I believe about a month ago. And since the Union have opened that, they haven't had a win. And so people are blaming that maybe the Union built Union Yards on some kind of Indian ground in there and whatnot, and now it's cursed. Jim Curtin, the head coach for the Union, is wearing suits. You know, last year he was wearing casual stuff, and so people are blaming Jim Curtin just switching it up to suits for the reason why the Union have been terrible at home this season. I joke, the Sons of Ben took a cat from Union Yards, and I said, because they took this cat out of Union Yards, now that place is cursed, like put it back. So, I mean, there's a lot of reasons why fans are pointing to why the Union can't get a win at home, but it is a really nice beer hall, and especially if you're a visiting fan, you can enjoy beers after the game, watching a team come into Subaru Park and get a victory.
Yeah, I mean, that's awful. I mean, and especially as a fan base coming from somewhere else, it's probably awesome. But for your home fans, they probably want to stay the hell away from there. And Stancy's saying, I went to Philly years ago, but stayed in a rough area. It was the hood and it was bad. I mean, every place has got their hood. So,
Hey, but where Subaru Park is, it's not the greatest area either. I've been, I went years ago when El Chacho Codet, Eduardo Codet, played for the Union, and it's not in the greatest area either. But they made a great, park out there. It's a beautiful stadium, and just like you said, I mean, the atmosphere when the team is playing well is a great atmosphere. The Sons of Ben are some of the finest supporters groups in MLS, and a lot of respect to them.
Now, I want to mention something here because I want to get to the silly questions. So before I get to my silly questions, Solana, do you have anything serious that you want to ask Todd, or any of you guys that want to ask Todd something serious in the comments? Do you have any questions?
I'm wearing this. Do I have anything serious about me?
I mean, I would. You know how funny it would be to ask a super. I'm going to cut a clip of one of your most serious questions that you've had on the show today, and just put that on YouTube Plus or whatever, and hopefully it'll catch some attention for sure. You guys that are watching, you guys should screenshot this, because I mean, this is beautiful.
It's already on the Discord, man. It's already on the Discord.
I mean, look, Mr. Krabs is already starting. No, Todd doesn't pull shopping carts. I mean, I don't know if we asked the question, Todd, but when I go grocery shopping, I actually pull the shopping cart from the front. A lot of weirdos like Danny, who's in Orlando right now, actually push the shopping cart. So what do? Do you push or pull?
Push.
Oh my God, you're awful. Well,
but the real question is, that's a Publix, right?
Yeah, this is a Publix, grocery store. Absolutely, I love Publixes.
Hey, now, Wegmans is good, man. I'll tell you that. Good. Wegmans is good.
Now, this is where we're gonna end it here. And I mean, Todd, you look like a young chap, but maybe you might know, right? You got to pick one side, and this is a war here, okay? And Danny is in Orlando, and he's whack because he picks the wrong side of the war. Are we going Backstreet Boys or NSYNC?
Ooh, man, I'm gonna get killed for this, I'm sure. Oh man, oh God. Let's go Backstreet Boys.
Oh, Danny, you got another one. Dang it. Backstreet Boys. That's not good, man. NSYNC makes way better quality songs. It's just that Backstreet Boys has a way bigger catalog. That's not fair.
I'm just going off of I believe that the first thing that I heard was a Backstreet Boys song before NSYNC, so that's what I'm basing it off of.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they made songs before NSYNC, so I get it. I mean, Danny from Orlando was saying, "Don't be a coward, Chris. Ask him the blind, deaf question." Oh, I totally forgot about this. I don't remember.
Wait, can we address something real quick?
Sure.
So you guys notice how Danny? Can you pull that back up again?
Sure.
Look, it's a purple background, white D. This dude's a full-on Orlando City fan.
Oh, bang, 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 Danny. No, that's
because look at Mike V. It's a gray background with an M. I mean, Danny 100% put the purple background because he's all in on Orlando City. I mean, it's the only reason why he's in Orlando right now.
We're not even gonna ask the question, Danny. You can go F yourself. We're gonna end the show just like that. And before we end the show, I'm just gonna keep this comment up for the rest of the show. But Todd, if you can, go ahead and let everybody know where they can find you guys. By the way, and this is all kidding aside, Todd does really good content for Philadelphia Union. If to cover Philadelphia Union, some of the stuff he does on his YouTube channel, breaking down the goals, guys, you guys got to support him and check it out. So if you can, Todd, go ahead and let everybody know where they can find you.
Yeah, if you guys want to follow on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, which I never use Facebook, but at Free Kick Pod. If you want to use my personal Twitter, it's at It's a Todd's Life, and then Instagram at It's a Todd's Life _. You mentioned it, the goals breakdown videos. It is at youtube.com/freekickpod. I break down every single goal, every single week in the Union's game, whether it be goals they scored or goals against. So, I'm expecting a lot of goals to break down this week for Inter Miami goals. So check that out this weekend. And then if you guys want to check out the podcast, check it out wherever you get your podcasts, The Free Kick. And then the Substack where I do writing, where you can find all the podcasts on there. And then the goals breakdown video, that's thefreekick.substack.com. And thank you guys again for having me on the podcast. And it's a shame that Danny couldn't be here to defend himself, and maybe next time. But I don't think he's ever coming back to the show, guys. I think he's going down to one of those Orlando City podcasts and he's auditioning for them. I think that's what he's really doing down in Orlando. So this is your new crew right here. The better crew, I would add. But how could you, Danny? How could you abandon your team after being in first place this season, going to the wrong team in Florida, and I thought we knew you. I thought we knew you, and obviously we didn't. You're a fraud.
Yeah, Danny, you're a piece of shit, to be honest. And I don't care what you say. I'm not asking the question. That's how we're going to end the show. You know why? Because Stone Cold said so. Okay. So before we end the show, Solana, do you have any last words before we go ahead and sign off?
I got no last words other than, Todd, if you jinxed us, I'm coming after you, bro.
Hey, respect.
And he's going to throw a cheesecake at you, at your face. And at at some of the rest of the, like, for example, Jillian, you're getting a cheesecake thrown at you too. I mean, it's cheesecakes and bare knuckle brawlers for everybody. So I guess that's it, guys. I mean, look, I can't wait for the game this Saturday. It's going to be a blast. I mean, look, it feels like we haven't watched the game in a long time, and I can't wait to be able to watch the game this Saturday. I'm looking forward to it, and look, guys, we appreciate all of you chiming in and kicking it with us here on this video and on audio as well, guys. If you guys are listening on audio, please go ahead and leave us a 5 stars, comment, like, subscribe, do whatever on Apple, Spotify. Write down in the comments if you're going to comment on one of those platforms. Put down, Danny, you suck, Orlando sucks, something like that. And for those of you that have been chilling with us in the chat, thank you guys so much for going ahead and chiming in. Much appreciated. You guys are literally the best part of the show. Thank you so much for hopping on with us. And if you haven't done so, go ahead and like and subscribe, guys. It's literally free 99. And look, thanks to you, Todd, and thanks, Solana, for filling in for a failure Danny Granado, who's now an Orlando fan, supporter / podcaster. So I guess if you want to follow his content, you could be able to Google Daniel Granada Orlando City fan. And guys, again, it was a pleasure. And until the next one, have a good one. Peace.
Go Cats.